case. I hold my tongue, I know I say something I regret. Don't blame me, just strike the match and walk away. Let me in, I've seen better days. Don't lay down, take it on goddamn, and tell me that you want it, you want it, you want it, you want it. Don't lay down, take it on goddamn, and tell me that you want it, you want it, you said you want it. If you bring the fuel, I'll bring the flames, and set it off. Not what you want, I'm what you need. A ticking time bomb, just strike the match and let it take. Let me in, light a lay blaze. Don't lay down, take it on goddamn, and tell me that you want it, you want it, you want it, you want it. Don't lay down, take it on goddamn, and tell me that you want it, you want it, you said you want it. If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home, when I'm home. Just so far from here, focused on my own way, with never looking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there was nothing you said that could make me realize how much lucky I was. Just out of reach of the fire, was not aware of the nightmare, but when I stopped to see through sight, begging for help, begging for hope, just need to open my eyes down. Try to change them to such
good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Once again, your series for us here, the Midwest Days of Thunder Cup Series. Well, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. This is Rocky Game 150 brought to you by Jinx Shifters. Well, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Jason from your Signature Esports.
Hello and welcome everybody to another wonderful night of Monday Night Racing, and man, we don't have many of these left. This is the penultimate race to the championship next week for these guys in this Midwest Days of Thunder Xfinity series, and whoo boys, this one's gonna be a hot one, and I don't mean temperature wise, I mean I'll explain what that means later on, but in the meantime, we are here at North Wilkesboro with some short track racing action, and it's a pretty good setup race for these guys heading into that final week next week. I'm your host, Alan Brown, and I'm joined in the booth as always by Mr. Alan English. Alan, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing better than usual because, this track was huge. Back in the day, they did their last race here in '96 with the NASCAR cars, but it's Throwback Week this week at North Wilkesboro, and '80s Throwback Week to be specific. And we got a lot of cool throwback paints out there on the track and sitting in the pits right now. And I'm in the spirit 100%. I've got my denim jacket on. I got my stonewashed jeans. I'm sure Turner's probably got his members only jacket on, and we're reliving the 80s here. Really looking forward to this race.
Down there on pit road, we got Mr. Adam Turner. And Adam, we're coming back to a kind of short track, kind of where you like to see things, because we're going to see some bumping and banging, some fenders being bumped out with some hammers down there in the pits, and maybe some tempers flaring.
Yeah, English and I may have a fight over the members only jacket comment. But sorry. I do remember those days. You probably got a keg of Falstaff going on over there as you watch. You're talking about how it's hot. It's hot, like heating up as far as fights. That's the cool part. But it is hot on the track. The track's 121, so it's going to be slippery. 70% fuel, one fast repair, and unlimited fights. You can get it as many fights as you want tonight because this is for the big one. It'll take a few guys fighting it out to get to the championship.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a second, that race for the championship final four, as we take a look at today's weather. And like you said, it's a toasty one down there on the track. And what's already a little bit difficult to control these cars at some of these tracks. This one in particular, they're pretty difficult to control, but sliding around with that heat, man, that's going to be interesting to watch. But other than that, everything is looking good. It's a bright, sunshiny day. This one's not going to be a transition. We're going to be here all day long. It's going to bring us to the key to the race, and that's going to be track position, man, you got to position yourself for success here. You don't want to be in the back and get caught up in these wrecks time after time.
And that's a great point because the track is so hot. It's already hard to get power down coming out of turn 4 here. We've seen it during practice. I did some test laps here, but it wasn't this hot. So you see there's Michael Simone coming around there too. It's hard to get power down out of 4, and there's going to be accidents. There's going to be cautions. So yeah, you got to really manage where you're at in relation to that leader, so you can try to stay on the lead lap and stay out of trouble.
Yeah, we're just in practice, and I heard some angry words, so this is going to be good. I'm looking forward to it.
As we get ready to jump into qualifying here, we're going to start it off with the 81 of Davey Hendricks, who picked up a win last week. So that is one less car that was guaranteed to make it into the finals next week. As we let's take a ride around inside that cockpit of that 81 and just watch him work that wheel.
Yeah, the Florida native running a cool throwback paint. That's old Sterling Marlin paint job on that 81. I think Terry Labonte also ran that early in his career. Now with the 81 on it. Love the throwback.
You know, Davey's going to try to make it his own paint scheme by the time this is over.
Man, he is definitely pushing that one to the edge, isn't he? Because good.
See how much right turn he's putting in it.
Mm-hmm.
This is left-hand turn track only. Put a lot of right wheel in it, though.
As Kevin Biggs puts in a great time up there. Currently sitting in that nice hot seat up in the front. Got Angel Hernandez, who is already guaranteed to move on to these final. And he's definitely working on a little bit of something here tonight. Got the 73 of Tim Harmon, not doing too bad there. Just outside of that top 10 in qualifying. Gavin Marlin just sneaking in as we kind of speak of it. 93 of Isaac Wilson just going around now, putting down his first lap. Let's see how he does.
Grumpy Gramp Racing on Facebook saying, "Evening, fellas, and I love Matt Fornes." I'm not sure that Matt Fornes is racing. I don't think he's a Cup-only driver. But Grumpy Gramps expressing their love for Matt Fornes.
Wow, well, how nice of him.
We
It's the 93 of Isaac Wilson will qualify 12th. Not too bad. Not too bad, as we have 17 vehicles here registered and tech inspected to race. So we're definitely going to be looking at a good one. So while we got a second here in between the qualifying and the race, let's go over what these playoff standings kind of look like right now. And good golly, this chart does not do it justice. So you can see there, Angel Hernandez in that final 4, guaranteed no matter what happens here today. So that's, as of right now, leaves 3 spots. Kevin Biggs looks like points-wise, he does not need the win here tonight. He just needs to kind of finish, I don't know, I think just really needs to finish. He's pretty well clear as some people. After that, it does get a little interesting. Andrew Kobe, it's a little close, but a nice race from him here should put him in. But the real battle, that is between Isaac Wilson, Greg Klein, Alan Kewins, and Ethan Flanagan, where it's essentially 1 point separates all those drivers from each other.
So that's where we might see a little bit of fighting.
I was waiting for that, yeah.
I was waiting for you. And that's what's going to be awesome about tonight's race. This track brings it out in the drivers and very competitive guys in this league, Midwest Days of Thunder. And some of these guys are trying to push the limits and make their way up to the Cup Series, the progressive series we have, Midwest Days of Thunder. So I think we got lot of points pointing towards a great race tonight, and then to next week where the final will be at Miami Homestead.
To leave that one open for you because I figure you wouldn't need a segue if it's about people fighting to get into the Final Four and you got all these guys close. I figure you jump right on that.
Yeah, well,
right?
my ears did perk up. I was looking at my Instagram feed. I do a lot of multitasking over here.
Oh yeah, for sure. And don't count Al Corey out. He is our last place guy, and he has been for a couple of rounds here. But he's still eligible to get to the top 4 if he picks up a win tonight. So Al Corey needs some kind of miracle that other people, if everybody, is able to beat each other up there, he can slide up in there even if he gets only a top 10 or so. So it's mathematically possible, probably. I'm no good with. He'd rather get a win his way in.
Oh, same thing with all the other guys. I'm sure Kevin Biggs knows the situation, but still wouldn't mind a nice win here at this throwback track. As we get all gridded up here, let's tell everybody how this field's going to be starting here today, and that's with Kevin Biggs on that pole position, just able to hang on and beat out Angel Hernandez there. He's going to be starting in second. The 84 of Mike Hornbeck had a great qualifying effort. He's going to be starting third here, with the 64 of Tony Fry starting in fourth. The 11 of Andrew Coe will be starting in fifth, with Ethan Flanagan in sixth on that outside. You got the 45 of Al Corey starting here seventh, with sneaky Pete Van Sprundle in that 80 car, going to be starting here eighth. Got the 92 of Greg Klein starting in ninth, with the 7 of Gavin Marlin rounding out that top 10.
Yeah, Gavin's got that cool Cale Yarborough, Alan Kowicki paint going. Custom paints are all over the track today. Tim Harmon in that 73, kind of a Earnhardt Sr. throwback with a different sponsor on there. Who else we got? Isaac Wilson starting in 12th. Old Mike Waltrip paint. Davey Hendricks in the 81. A couple guys ran that car. The Sterling Marlin and Terry Labonte, a couple of them. Alan Cunes and the Butterball Machine starting in 14th. 00 Alex Goff. He's running that old Davey Allison Dr. Pepper paint. 27 of Mike Simone starting 16th. Simone's got old Ernie Irvin paint scheme, old Mac Tools. Good to see him out there. Jason Ricketts will be starting in 17th. And Michael Simone having quite a few problems during qualifying. He's one of those guys that had a real hard time getting power down coming out of 4. Starting in the back, but hopefully he's wanting to move up to the front too, even though he's not a playoff guy.
All right, and as we start to slowly work our way around this lovely short track and where anything can happen, I got Kevin Biggs, Angel Hernandez up there following that pace car around, getting ready to just about ready to go to green flag race. And we're going to go around one more time, and then we are live with some racing. And it's going to be interesting because we have quite a few laps here, and we'll get into the pit strategies and stuff later on. But it's not desperation mode just yet, as these guys do have all those laps. But man, it's gonna set in pretty quickly here.
Yeah, where does the first death occur? That's what we're gonna see.
Well, as the pace cars,
speaking.
Pace car's coming out of turn 4 right now, making that sharp turn down into pit lane. We're getting ready to find out. Green flags waving, and away we go off down into turn number 1. Looks like Kevin Biggs and Angel Hernandez still side by side out there. Little squiggly from both guys. Still side by side as they head on off into 3 and 4. It looks like Angel might be getting a little bit of a run there on that outside, and he will do that. He will take the lead away from Kevin Biggs, but this battle is not over yet. Biggs still hanging on to that quarter panel, and finally Angel getting clear. You got Mike Hornbeck in the 84 with a solid start there. He's going to be able to hang on to that third. You got Andrew Cobe there sliding up a spot into fourth with Tony Fry just behind him, and boy, oh boy.
Oh, spinning back here. Teammates got into each other. The 73 and the 60 Angry Idiots machines got into each other, and the 60 got a piece of the wall.
Yeah, that wasn't pretty.
That's a little awkward when teammates get together, but able to press on here. These guys got they got 2 fast repairs, I think, Adam.
Yeah, there are 2, but I think Kuhn's. Oh, there's actually 1 fast repair for this race, guys. Sorry.
Ooh.
It looks like he came down a little bit on the 73.
It also looked like the 73 came in a little hot too.
Yeah, there's multiple factors.
Little-
Blame no one.
Blame no one on that. That's just a racing deal. Cold tires, all that lovely stuff as these guys start to make their way down pit road and try to get some stuff fixed up. And the 81 of Davey Hendricks also getting involved in that. His front end's getting all squished up and back together. And so it was very interesting to see that outside line here on that restart was able to put in a little bit of work.
Well, and the concern here is, engine problems or suspension problems. And engine problems can result as a messed up bodywork in the front. So aero not important here. So if you knock all the tin parts off of it, you don't really care as long as your engine's still getting air and your suspension, all your wheels are straight and all that. So bodywork not a necessity here.
Well, what do you think the conversation's like in
In Angry Idiots chat channel?
the chat with your teammate?
I thought about it.
I don't know. I guess it's one of those ones that's early enough you can both get through it.
Them guys get along pretty well in that league, but Kewins is a playoff guy. I'm sure he wasn't real happy about being raced as competitively as he was by the 73. But then again, I mean, who knows? They're pretty easygoing guys, both of them. So
Yeah, I don't think there's any drama or anything to worry about. Definitely nothing else is going to happen between those two on purpose, anyway.
I don't see helmets flying at the hauler after either.
But I think we will see that at some point in this
I'll
race.
guarantee. Whoever made this playoff schedule, they kind of set it up for, let's have the desperation race be the be the one that's going to be, guys are going to be. It's a difficult track to race, especially when you put a bunch of cars on.
And so here we have Angel Hernandez and Kevin Biggs kind of flipping the book on each other here. Angel going to be starting on that inside with Kevin on that outside here as the pace car's lights are turned off. We're going to be going back to green flag racing here in just a moment. These guys are now coming out of turn 4. Green flags waving, and away we go. And great restart there for Kevin Biggs. He's able to get clear of Angel, even before the corner, and he is absolutely gone as Angel had a very poor restart there. He's now holding up a few cars there. The 11 and the 84 are still side by side. Same thing with the 64 and the 45. We are 2 wide racing all the way back here into 10th as the field's slowly trying to get all figured out, but you can just see the stack up that's happening.
Car around, Ricketts. Ricketts is around. He's by himself though, and it looks like he towed. No yellow.
Still side by side racing action going on back here in like 5th, 6th, and 7th.
And he got into the back of Corey, and another spin behind them.
Oh, and Alan,
Kevin got punted.
man, the 60 ran into the 64, and we have ourselves a caution.
Yeah, a couple of different separate incidences. I saw the 93 involved in one in behind, where Corey and the 80 Advanced Program got together. 2 different wrecks happened in the same turn. That's
Yeah. So you can actually see here, you can see the 45 of Al Corey get a little loose in front of these guys. I think due to a tap from Pete Van Sprundle, but that was just a racing deal. And then the 93 got a little loose. The 60 gets involved. And then the 7 goes down into the grass. Let's see what happened to Gavin here in that Hardee's. He just, oh, you know what? He just had nowhere to go and kind of sideswiped Al Corey there a little bit, but doesn't look too bad for young Gavin there. And whoo, boy, was that
He's
close.
got to hold the brake, come back up on the track like that. He about got up into traffic again. Richard Gray pulling for everybody on Twitch. Appreciate you being on Twitch with us tonight on AAA Broadcasting. And T-Stan 9015 says best paint goes to Gavin. I love them clean old paints that you can immediately recognize. You know, hey, that was Cale Yarborough or Alan Kowicki. You know, I like those high contrast, cool, recognizable paint.
Well, you're not going to recognize the paint on the 60 car. Well, he just had bad luck on that one there. It looked like the 35 spun the 64, and, you know, downstream was Alan Kewins, and he just got a hold of him there. Interesting scenario there.
Eric Warman on Facebook saying, let's go, boys. Thanks for watching, Eric. And also, thanks Tommy Stanley, who made a prediction. He's saying it's going to be Wilson, Biggs, or Hernandez for the championship. So he's convinced Wilson's going to make it to the next round. We'll see tonight. And it looks like Mr. Ricketts manually disconnected. He gone for today.
Might not be one of his favorite tracks to run or anything like that. So
I want to stay out of the guys' way too, you know.
oh yeah, we knew we were gonna see some bumping and banging and, you know, some early shenanigans go on, but you know, it's you definitely never want to take somebody, especially in playoff time. You know, you don't want to be taking somebody out and ruining chances. Not saying that that's what Ricketts did or anything like that. That's just
No.
you know, just being courteous to other drivers who are in it for a little bit more than just a race win.
Yeah.
So we head down this back straightaway. The lights on the pace car are off, so we're going to be going back to some green flag racing here in just a second. And through turns 3 and 4, that pace car is going to dive on down into that pit road. Kevin Biggs and Angel Hernandez swap positions once again here, so Kevin is going to be on that inside, and away we go. Again, a pretty solid restart there for the 18, but the 42 is able to hang on to that back outside quarter panel, able to run that outside line, which I think is going to carry just a little bit more speed, especially with how hot this track is and how difficult it is to put that power down. But the 18 is going to be able to hang on and secure that lead, as Pete Van Sprundle and Al Corey are side by side as they go down into turn number 1, still side by side. He's also got the 92 of Greg Klein kind of lurking in the background, trying to maybe follow Sneaky Pete on through there. Same thing with the 35. The 35 is now taking it to the outside of Greg, as we get a couple of green flag laps rolling here.
Yeah, the 80 of Van Sprundle just looks like he just had a terrible restart. He did not go. The 35 and the 81 stacked up right behind him, had to get out of it. So the inside line checked up quite a bit. Great racing all over the racetrack, though. Too wide, quite a few spots here.
As Al Corey now looks to that outside, trying to get around Sneaky Pete in that 80 Halloween car. Just not there. Didn't have the run quite yet, but he's going to have the run going down into 3 and 4. Ooh, but maybe ran it a little too hard going into that corner. Pete Van Sprundle sneaks up the track and closes that door. That was closing very quickly, so these guys are having a heck of a battle. And right behind him, you still got Ethan Flanagan, Greg Klein, and Davey Hendricks all battling it out for 8th, 9th, and 7th.
Yeah, there's
Oh, as the
some diamonds
92
going.
gets loose, breaks loose, gets up
Lines
into
around.
Ethan Flanagan. That's going to bring out the yellow flag.
That happens here. I mean, this is where we see it. They finally got a little run put together and a little beating and banging.
Flanagan, one of your playoff drivers, needed a good finish today to hopefully point his way in. It sounds like the 92 Klein owning it on the radio there.
Yeah, it looked like the 92 just running in a little too pacey, hit the brakes a little too much, and that sent that car around. And at that point, he was just going for a ride, and really not much he could do to keep it off of Flanagan there, unfortunately.
You know what I find strange? Adam, Alan, both of you guys, has Greg ever apologized to y'all for taking you out? I mean,
No, normally,
man.
but he normally would hit me on purpose. I think that was pretty obvious that he just kind
I
of.
wrecked you by accident. I'm sorry.
It was he actually was. He slid in it. He couldn't get out of it, and he just took Flanagan out. But hey, it's still early. Flanagan's not going to be any harm's way of missing out on something here. He's still got 100-something laps to get back in it. It'll be fine.
So we kind of take a look through the field here a little bit. You got the 27 Mac Tools car of Mike Simone, Red Stick Mike, and he's up 8 positions right now, sitting there in 8th, just kind of slowly crawling his way up through this field, incident by incident.
Your biggest mover so far. Hendricks is up 6. I think if that restart was a little bit better in front of him, he may have taken a spot or two there. I'm not really sure, but looks like the lights are out on the pace car. Oh, they're going to make one more. Oh, no, this is a front and back pit road, isn't it? I'm sorry.
Well, I think Davey Hendricks probably started back of the pack just to try to drive to the front. As a challenge. But just a guess.
I don't know about that. After watching the qualifying efforts, he was wheeling that thing pretty good.
He puts on he's a showman. He likes to do showman things. Watch, he's going to tear through him here in a minute. Or annihilate somebody that he's got beef with. Either one, it's going to be sweet.
Maybe the showman Hendrick.
Yeah, I think so.
As the lights on the pace car do turn off this time, so we're going to go back to green flag racing here in just a moment again with Kevin Biggs, Angel Hernandez up there on that front row. You got Andrew Kobe and Mike Hornbeck still sitting up there. These guys are having a pretty solid race up there at the front, and now you got Greg Klein on the outside of Al Corey with Davey Hendricks and Mike Simone right behind them. Coming through turns 3 and 4, pace car diving down, and away we go. Green flags waving here once again. And
84! They're checking up behind the 84. Klein's in the wall. Everybody's straight, though. Still green.
Ooh, rough restart there for the 84. Might have spun the tires a little bit there. Maybe even started in the wrong gear, but not a great restart for him as Kevin Biggs able to get around Angel Hernandez again here at the front. Andrew Kobe sitting there right behind them. You now got Al Corey all in line with Davey Hendricks right behind him, who's definitely trying to hunt these guys down. Mike Hornbeck losing a lot of positions there, dropping down into 6th, but still able to hang on and stay out in front. You got Isaac Wilson in that 93 behind him, and all that is the 92 of Greg Klein. Tim Harmon making a little bit of a comeback. He's now back up to 9th after that first caution that we had involving his own teammate, the 60 of Alan Kewins, who's still sitting back here in 15th, but on that lead lap still, and trying to put in the work.
Yeah, he hit the wall coming out of 4 a couple laps ago, but look who's on the move right now is the 7 of Gavin Marlin. He just passed 2 cars on the outside. He's running that high line, kind of a late entry, rolling the center of the corner, kind of in the middle of the track. And he's making that line work pretty damn well. unlike these other cars that just kind of dive it in, Gavin's like, I'm just going to pass you on the outside, and y'all go ahead and dive low and burn them tires up.
As the 93 looks to make a pass on the 84 of Hornbeck up that inside, but these two have been side by side for a couple laps now, and it looks like the 93 just able to squeak on by. The 84 had to check up on the exit just a little bit. He was having a heck of a run. Same thing with the 92. The 92 of Greg Klein had to check up there, so that's going to leave the door open for Gavin Marlin to keep running that outside line, and he's now also clear of the 92, but the 92's coming back up the inside, but I don't think that's the line you're going to want here. You kind of want to run that middle line like Gavin Marlin's running.
T-stand on Twitch. Klein's paint, it kind of looks like a Smoky Unit type paint, but he's been painting them Amberbach cars for the last few years, so it might just be one that he had that looked like a throwback. The 42's around. Hernandez is already locked in, but he sure didn't want to spin there.
Yeah, I don't know why he wants the headache of driving this. He could have just taken a week off.
Park in or start the park or something. I think he overcorrected.
Well, yeah, I think that was just a little bit too much brake, and I got to fix this, and then next thing you know, you're sitting backwards inside that wall on the outside of the racetrack, but still not too bad. Just a little unfortunate for him, as he was running pretty good up there at the front. He's gonna now have quite a bit of work to do as these guys come down pit road to get some damage fixed. You got the 60 of Kewins, the 00 Hubba Bubba of Alex Goff, and the 42 of Angel Hernandez there. And now that we're just a little bit of the way into the race here. No, you did some testing down there a little bit earlier there, Mr. English. I don't know whose car keys you had to steal to do that, but when you went out on that track, what were you kind of finding out pit strategy-wise here today?
I used my old retired Lone Star machine. I found out that after about 25, if you didn't take good care of them, the fall-off really started to catch up with you. Kevin Biggs is out there on original tires along with Kolb and Corey. We're 30. They're on lap 38, so I'm kind of surprised we didn't see a few of these guys come in for fresh rubber. But, I mean, Adam, you can speak to this. It's probably because they have so many yellow laps on these tires.
Yeah, I think that has something to do with it. And Biggs may be trying to get a point. I think an extra point for leading the lap or so. Every point counts, especially when you're trying to point your way into the final next week. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Davies on lap 5 tires. He's still out there. We'll definitely see how it works. This place is hard to pass now. Don't kid yourself. It's a lot of quick left turns and nowhere to go. So I'm not sure what the strategy is, but I know that it's even with new fresh tires, it's going to be very difficult to pass.
Mr. Brown, we've seen some drivers that their strategy is just to dive it in there. I don't want to say dive bomb and say they're over driving it, but they're definitely sticking their nose in there, going into 1 and going into 3. Is that kind of what you're seeing?
That is, and we've seen a couple cautions now here where you can kind of see that taking effect, where they might have went a little too hard and realized it and got a little harder on the brake there, and which unsettles that car. I mean, we saw it from the 92 and saw it from Angel Hernandez there just now. These cars are so sensitive to every input you put into them. As the pace car is going to be coming down pit road here in just a second. But just the slightest of mistakes could cost you some big-time positions, as Kevin Biggs and Davey Hendricks up here at the front. Green flags waving, and away we go off and down into turn number 1 and 2. Looks like the 18 is going to be able to just hang on and be able to drive away a little bit from that 81 of Davey Hendricks. That's a little battle we're going to want to keep an eye on, as earlier on in this season, both those guys got into it at one of the short tracks we were running at earlier, as the 45 of Al Corey, holy smokes, talk about a man on a mission. He was full head of steam into that corner, able to keep it under control, but it's going to lose that momentum that he had gained. So the 11 of Andrew Cobb's able to come right back and battle with him, side by side racing here down into turns 1 and 2. Same thing behind them. He's got the teammates of Gavin Marlin and Isaac Wilson battling it out side by side right now as well.
A couple of these guys taking a page out of Gavin Marlin's book and making that outside line work, as we see Hornbeck and Red Stick Mike Simone also utilizing that outside line to make up a couple of spots here, kind of stay out of trouble, pinching those guys low.
Still side by side, and eventually, finally, the 11 of Cobb able to get around that 45 of Al Corey, who looks like he's more comfortable on that inside line. I think he might have just kind of got stuck on the outside a little bit there, because he keeps looking like he's one of those guys. As Gavin takes a quick little tire dip into the inside grass, able to hang on to it, but that's also going to let his teammate of Isaac Wilson sneak on around. As behind him we still have a gaggle of cars as well. You got Greg Klein right there on that back bumper of the 84 of Hornbeck with the 27. Oh no, as man, who was that? Was
Harmon,
that
73 of Harmon got in the grass?
Able to just hang on to it and
I don't see
keep
how that
this.
wouldn't pile up.
Oh man, that was close. Side by side racing here. Red Stick Mike and Greg Klein right behind him, kind of sitting and waiting, biding his time, is Ethan Flanagan. Here comes Angel Hernandez trying to make up some ground after that little bit of a mistake. He's slowly working his way back up. Same thing with that 60 of Alan Kewins. He's slowly crawling his way up. He's right now battling side by side with Hernandez and Pete Van Sprundle at the same time.
It gets pretty crowded on the track. And Adam, you can speak to this. If we had more cars on the track than we have now, there'd be a lot more cautions. These guys are getting a pretty good green flag run in right now.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like 20 cars is about as much as this can handle. But, I mean, they ran them in real life here, so
Yep.
it just feels like you're in the Katy Freeway at rush hour, you know, with all these cars on the track as it is.
Man.
I was watching Greg Klein. I guess he needs some new tires, man. He's falling off a little bit.
As the 7 of Gavin Marlin not making it easy for his teammate Isaac Wilson there in that 93. Just about every corner looks like Gavin Marlin's able to get a run and try to make a pass, but was having definitely a little bit of a struggles keeping that power down coming out of that corner, and just not able to complete that run. As we Kevin Biggs is starting to kind of drive away a little bit here. It's almost got a second lead over Davey Hendricks. And Davey's got a little bit of a space back there to third. So our top 3 are all starting to get spaced out. But that's all right, because we still got racing going on back here. We're side by side, the 42 of Hernandez and the 35 of Flanagan racing it side by side. Looks like that 35 of Flanagan might have bounced off the wall a little bit there, but able to hang on to it, and still side by side racing we go.
You stand talking about Gavin on Twitch and how he's been running lately and been putting in the work. Yeah, it shows. You can tell the guys that have run quite a few laps out here for practice, and the guys that did the bare minimum, you know. And I mean, some of these guys don't need to do any more than the bare minimum, that's for sure. But you can really see the folks that have been putting in the work and practicing. And it's just a lot of fun to watch this series. I love these Xfinity cars.
Yeah, they're hard to drive. I mean, they're working them harder than the real Mrs. Poindexter would.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy how actually difficult it is to drive these cars, and much less to drive them on a super short track like this. They're doing the best they can out there. It's a tough job.
Oh, as the 80 and the 60 go side by side, trading a little paint there, going down that back straightaway. So Alan Kewins and Pete Van Sprundle
At it again.
not giving each other much room here today.
Yeah, that's been a reoccurrence here tonight between the 60 and the 80. I don't know what Richard Gray's talking about on YouTube. He says this is a family channel. I don't know what one of us said.
I didn't say anything that wasn't family related that I know of. But 60 might be picking the fight with the wrong guy. You don't want to fight a guy from Long Island in an alley.
Oh yeah, that's true. Who's got a knife in their shoe, you know?
Sneaky Pete and Alan Kewins going at it here.
So 42 of Angel Hernandez in the 35 of Flanagan, still going side-by-side racing here. This is up here in a top 10 race for 8th and 9th, as the 93 has a little bit of an issue there.
Yeah, he was real loose there for a second, but good job holding on to it there, Mr. Waltrip. His teammate on the outside of him right now, so he's got to behave.
Is this Richard Gray guy? Is he part of the FCC? Because I'm gonna have to start.
Find
I'll
me.
have to start blocking people.
Just find me. Don't care.
Sniffing too much asphalt.
I'll send him a Olive Garden gift card or something as a fine. If I said something about him, you know, meeting women at a family reunion or something, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that, Richard. Oh, 93 loose again. 42 takes advantage.
That he will, and man, 93 is not getting much teammate love here tonight, because that's the second teammate that he's been battling against. Oh, as he's loose again coming off of turn number 4. These guys are definitely starting to feel effects of these older tires.
Matt Forn's saying finally got us some green flag laps going, feller. But I tell you what, though, it's these guys, especially cars like the 93. Them shoes are wore out, son. They're ready for some new ones.
Well, what about a green flag pit stop in some cases here? What do you think we'll see?
Oh man, you really want to avoid those pit stops here. Yeah. This being a short track, you're going not just one lap, but you're going multiple laps. You're talking at least probably 3 laps if you come down in the pits. So this is going to be one of those where we're going to see people try to drive this one out until they are completely out of fuel. As the 42 and the 35 go back to the battle that they were originally having before running into the 93 of Isaac Wilson there. And still side-by-side racing we go right there. And up in front, races kind of single-filed out just a little bit. And same thing with behind these guys. Not a crazy amount of action going on, but that doesn't mean that it isn't exciting, because, I mean, you never know when someone's just going to make that one little mistake out there in front of you. Next thing you know, you got a car blocking half this track.
Richard Gray saying,
oh, here we go. It's a 42 getting a little loose, able to hang on to it, but that's going to allow Flanagan an easy time getting back around. Same thing with the 27 of Red Stick Mike Simone, but a little bit of an error there from the 42.
Gray saying, check the comments. I don't see anything in the comments besides what we've read.
The spammers, the Russian hackers have hacked your Facebook
those.
or something. Well, nothing we can do about that. Look at Sneaky Pete Van Sprundle, just fighting Isaac Wilson like it's his last day on Earth. That's crazy. You don't give up.
No, he don't.
No, it don't.
He knows the 93 needs to do well today, so. Here comes the 60 behind the 80 again.
As the 84 of Hornbeck and Al Corey go side by side here. Once again, looks like the 84 is going to squeeze on by fairly easy, but the 45 is going to come back on that outside line, try to get a run coming off of this corner, but I don't think he will. So the 84 is sliding his way back up into 5th.
Yeah, I never thought we'd have to fill in this much. Oh, the 60 spins the 80 around, sends him in the inside wall. I knew that wasn't over with. And the 80 rolling onto the track.
And that was...
Spinning it around.
I'm not going to say what happened there. It just looked like 80 slowed down and 60 didn't, you know.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of a checkup there coming out of the corner. And 60 just, right into that back end of Sneaky Pete.
Quite a bit tonight, but that was I see your corner, I'm going to use it, bye-bye type situation.
Do you think it's a fight?
I'm not saying that yet.
Okay, well,
if it is, they're keeping it calm on the radio.
80 will come back out there at some point, so.
I didn't hear any I'm sorries or hey, what the hell on the radio. I heard neither of those things. So
dead silent.
Dead silent.
Yeah, that's sometimes a telltale indicator.
Precursor. And how about this up here? Gavin Marlin worked his way all the way up to fourth. Now working on the inside of Andrew Cobe here, trying to break up into that top three. And he's got the 81 of Davey Hendricks right there as well. So these guys have all kind of come back and grouped back together as Kevin Biggs continues to kind of drive away from these guys.
You haven't put a little orange paint on the left rear of that 11. Corey on the outside of the 84. Looks like he doesn't have the momentum. The 84 takes his line away.
And we're so typical of seeing, Davey in that 81, especially if it came to long runs and things like that. He's, got that pace, but right now he is definitely struggling out there.
Oh, yeah.
As
64 coming around a little bit, might be on his own.
Running through the grass. The cars on original tires are a second off of their best times. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but think about this. It's only a 5/8 mile track. This is a small track, so a second is a lot. But these guys are still making it work somehow.
They got some kind of strategy going on.
As the 7 once again looks to the inside of Cobe, trying to break into that top three kind of area here, as we're just a little bit over past that halfway mark here in this 135 lap race. Definitely putting the laps in here now as we got a good green flag run going. It looks like that inside line it's so hard to maintain momentum up there.
And it just eats your tires up like crazy. What do you guys think? Do you think the next caution you're going to see everybody come down? Because that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Oh, I'm sure of it. If we get another caution here, we're going to see everybody and maybe even their grandmothers coming down.
I mean, if they don't, you're going to have guys out there that are, that have 20 laps of fuel left, and that's not going to work.
Yeah, I think you'd have to be a fool not to come down at this point. Everybody's got a little damage, and I know the tires are just about ruined. So, yeah, we're just waiting on the caution now, aren't we?
It doesn't look like we're going to get one here, as a lot of the field's single filed out.
Ooh, as the 60 almost gets up into that back bumper of the 93, so we almost had one.
All kinds of friends.
Yeah, that 60's having a tough race there. I know Thanksgiving's coming up, so those butterball turkeys are flying off the shelf, and
he's on a mission from God.
Yeah, he's driving with his sunglasses, I'm sure.
God, yeah.
And the 92 of Greg Klein trying to make up some of this lost ground that he's had, but he's just been slowly moving his way backwards, which is, for him and his playoff chances, that is not something that he wants.
Ben Pear on Facebook chiming in saying, greetings from the north. Shout out to Bash Brothers Racing.
All the way up from Maine there.
Blake,
go ahead.
Blake Flanagan on YouTube pulling for Ethan. So got a little family support there on the YouTube.
I'm watching Greg go around Klein, and he is struggling with those what do they got? 85 laps on those tires.
Oh, as the 60 goes around right in front of them, and that's going to bring out that really needed yellow flag.
T-Stan on Twitch saying Davey's probably a actual race car driver and not a robot. I don't know about that. Decent job out there. Biggs had 3 seconds on him, so track positions a lot here, as you said during your key to the race. Wow, looks like he got loose by himself.
And just trying to put that power down to get on around him, but that's going to bring us to our first round of pit stops here. As looks like the 80 of Pete Van Sprundle is going to stay out to get a lap back and catch back up after that incident with the 60. So we're going to have a little bit of a race coming off of pit road here.
I love good race off of pit road. Yahtzee.
And here we go, and it's going to be the 18 of Biggs, followed by Hendricks, and then Gavin Marlin able to just beat Andrew Cobe out. Same thing with Mike Hornbeck to Ethan Flanagan. But sneaky Pete Van Sprundle did not come down the pits that time, so I have a feeling he's going to be coming down here in just a second at him. And yeah, there it goes. Be a little foolish for him to stay out there on that old rubber. And man, oh man, talk about a much-needed caution for some of these guys. It's going to give the option for, the 93 of Isaac Wilson, who's in that kind of tough points battle there with the 92 and the 60. Kind of get back and get a good rhythm going, but especially for the 92 of Greg Klein, who we saw not necessarily up at the front, but definitely in the mix with that kind of top 5 area, slipped all the way back to 13th now, so he's kind of having ability to crawl his way through the field again.
Yeah, they just reset the field. I mean, everybody's level again. What I don't understand with the 92 of Greg Klein, he's still got some damage, so he must think his car is fine as far as power, so he just saved his one fast repair. We'll see how he can get through if he can get through the field, because he has some ground to make up now. As he's trying to push towards that final race.
It's almost guaranteed we're going to see some late cautions anyway, so yeah, he's keeping that in his back pocket, I'm sure.
As we roll around here, looks like we're going to be going back to some green flag racing on lap 92 of 135. So we're coming down to it, boys. We're inside of that last 50. We're almost inside of that last 40. And, if we get another green flag run, who knows? We might see Biggs drive away again and see maybe Gavin make up some even more ground. I mean, Davey right now sitting in a pretty good spot as the pace car comes on down through pit road. Green flag's waving, and away we go, side by side down into turns 1 and 2. That 81 sticking to that outside as the 7 of Marlin gets into that back bumper of the 18, sends Davey Hendricks out into the wall, and we got a mess.
Upside down. He is upside down.
I just heard some commentary there. Wow, that was crazy. Yeah, the 11 and the 93 are getting a little heated. Oh, Lord, I love this.
We know you do, so let's go back and take a look at that as all carnage broke loose. Oh, man. Gavin Marlin just going for a ride, and you can see all the carnage going on around them.
81's got smoke pouring out of the back of the car going down pit road.
Gonna have to do this one at quarter speed, I think, by the looks of it. So we can go. Let's go all the way back to what initially started this. We're gonna see the 7 of Gavin Marlin maybe miss a braking point or something, because he went very deep into the corner, got into the 18, a little bit of a netcode up into the 81, and after that everything got squirrely. Hornbeck kind of losing it on his own. The 27 taking a ride through the grass. 64. Man, let's take a ride here with the 64 of Tony Fry just to see what he saw, because he somehow made it through all this. One car that way, one car that way, two cars this way, one car upside down on his roof, and whew, sneaking it on through. That's also going to allow that 42 of Angel Hernandez to sneak on through and get up into third. And
Oh man,
man,
I love
oh
that
man.
view.
Yeah, there is a lot to go on. You could dissect that in a podcast or something, what just happened there. But a lot of it could have been computer generated. That looked like you said netcode there, and then there were some other things that people were arguing about there at the end.
Well,
Interesting.
between the 18 and the 81, I didn't really see any contact there. It looks like the 7 may have a little net code between himself and the 81's left rear. I think that's what happened. The 7's right front. Oh, and you know what? The 7 hit that little track entry area where the wall kind of goes away. That's why he flipped.
Yeah, those where the track gets a little squirrely and those concrete, they're not safer barriers. Then I heard the 93 complaining about the 11 not holding his brakes. Well, the 11 was holding his brakes, got hit by the 73, pushed back down into traffic, and had, there was nowhere to go for anybody. When you're that deep in the crash, there's not much going on back there.
No, and that is one wreck that we are thankful that we are racing here virtually and not in real life, because I'm pretty sure the ambulances would be out on the track for that one.
Gavin's young. He's resilient. He'd slip right out of his harness. I'm sure he'd be fine. But yeah, upside down, he'd probably be pretty dirty.
He hit it hard, though, didn't he? Wow.
Yeah, he did.
Dude, as the pace car comes down pit road, getting ready to take this green flag once again. Al Corey now up there in second, basically needing that win to get in. Currently side by side with Angel Hernandez there. It looks like the 18 of Biggs able to easily kind of stay around and keep that lead as these two keep battling it out.
Ooh.
As the 64 and the 92 of Greg Klein and Fry are side by side off into turn number 3. Maybe a little bit of a contact rub there. I know these guys like to race it a little bit close to the belt.
In the back. Sorry, bud.
Oh, still 3 wide as the 84 kind of bouncing between the 11 and the 7. The 7 getting that lucky dog. As the 27 of Red Stick, Mike Simone taking a trip through the grass. We're going to be 3 wide here again with these guys as they start to catch up to the 81 of Hendricks and 73 of Tim Harmon. Good golly, these guys had to do some ducking and diving there.
60 had a couple of problems. He was he'd be pushing, then he'd be loose, and guys are trying to get around him, and he's trying to maintain his position. Last car on the lead lap, I think, and a playoff driver, so he's got every right to defend his position.
It does.
We're seeing some playoff guys way in the back here. That's going to affect some of our points going into the final 4 here.
As Alan Kewins is kind of hanging off one of the last cars on that lead lap. Same thing with Isaac Wilson. Not too bad right now in 7th. However, he does have Greg Klein in that 92 up there in 4th. I think if it were to end right now, Greg Klein would just steal that position away from Isaac Wilson as he and Davey Hendricks go side by side, trading a little bit of paint. Basically inside of each other. 93 not happy, given a little bumper tug to a bumper bump, not a tug. That was weird. To the 81.
They're getting after it on the mics too. So
as Isaac Wilson into the wall, coming out of 1 and 2. We're gonna almost be 3 wide here again. Now the 73 of Tim Harmon is trying to make a pass on that inside. And the 93 gets loose coming down that front straightaway, causing a little bit of a pile up here. Yellow flag's gonna come out, and I think the 11 of Andrew Kobe ended up getting involved in that.
Yeah, he was a victim of circumstance there as the 93 got loose, trying to catch back up, I guess. And overdrove it, came down, hit the 11. So a couple more playoff drivers getting in bad wrecks. I wonder how many of these guys still got their fast repair left.
It's interesting how he came down on 11 there. I know that's a spot where that happens, but real interesting stuff out on the track. Man, you could dissect this whole race with all the anger, and there's going to be some anger and hatred that it'd be an iRacing folklore here.
Oh, God.
As we're now starting to get cars who don't have that luxury of a fast repair anymore start to miss some body pieces here. You see the 11 of Andrew Kobe starting to look like a modified with that front end. The 93 right in front of him's all banged up. The 27 Red Stick Mike's got some fenders all bent in this way and that way. The 84 of Mike Hornbeck looks like he might have used a fast repair one of those previous cautions because his car doesn't look too bad. And, the 81 of Davey Hendricks getting a little bit of side damage there when he was having that battle with the 93. Ethan Flanagan, his front end's all jacked up. You got the 64 of Fry, who his car actually doesn't look too bad. The back end of 92, Craig Klein, is all crumpled in. You got the front end and the side quarter of Angel Hernandez all messed up. Al Corey's car doesn't look too bad, and same thing with the race leader, Kevin Biggs.
92 looks like he backed into one of the poles at the grocery store with that machine, but that happened on one of those restarts where I think the 27 was right behind him, and there was a big checkup during the restart, and Red Stick Mike had nowhere to go and just plowed the back of that 92. A couple of guys stayed in the pits a few extra seconds to get some damage fixed. Kewins actually came back down the pits again and got a little bit more done, so getting that body work done one lap at a time.
And see, well, so that's going to be the beauty of this thing being a short track. You can be missing a lot of body panels and this and that, like you
Absolutely.
were mentioning earlier. As long as you've got an engine that drives good and your steering doesn't get all messed up or whatever. I mean, we've seen cars that were basically convertibles finish, these things and are in it for a win.
Yep. Don't need all that aero here, but that engine has to breathe, and you have to be able to steer. And if you got 5 degrees of tow out or something, you're going to be able to get that thing around this track. Short track, but it is technical. We're going green here.
Getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Al Corey, Kevin Biggs up here at the front. Looks like Biggs once again getting that excellent restart. The 45 trying to stay up there with him, but just not quite able to do so. So now he's got that 42 of Angel Hernandez looking to the inside of him as the 45 makes a big lunge up, trying to get all that room back. Just not able to do so as the 92's got a swarm of cars coming up behind him. He's got the 35 of Ethan Flanagan battling with Tony Fry right now, trying to get around and make up some of those spots. Ethan Flanagan, one of those guys needing a good result here to get those points and move on in. Same thing with Greg Klein, but oh no, as the 35 gets a little bit of loose, and Davey Hendricks is going to end up getting a little stuck with him on the outside now, as he and Hornbeck are going at it a little bit as well.
Yeah, Hornbeck's watching this go on in front of him. So
As the 92 gets breaking loose right in front of the 64, he's going to lose a lot of positions here as they go 3 wide here for just a second. And so the 92 dropping like a fly here, moving all the way back down into 8th.
Yeah, he was able to rejoin the racing line there without an incident, though. But, oh, yeah, the 92 lost several spots there. 35 and the 81 still side by side in front of Hornbeck here. How long is this going to go on before Flanagan is a playoff driver?
Good question. Let's watch and see.
Ooh, as we almost had contact between them. Davey using up every inch of possible room there, trying to maintain that momentum and come out of that corner with as much speed as possible. Once again, pinching Ethan Flanagan up into that outside wall. And just, man, these guys are not leaving anything left out there on this track, as we now have 18 laps to go as the 84 of Mike Hornbeck gets checked up due to this battle going on in front of him, allowing the 92 of Greg Klein to catch back on up to his back bumper and regather his momentum. And still side-by-side racing here as Kevin Biggs continues his dominance here today, extending that lead out, able to hang on out in front. Angel Hernandez was able to get around Al Corey there. So Angel Hernandez sitting pretty well in second, with Al Corey in third right now, with a pretty decent gap all the way back to Tony Fry.
Davey finally able to get clear there as the 93's teammate right there in the 35. Sure gave him a big fight, and it looks like it might not be over. Yeah, I think the 35's used his stuff up.
As we now got the 84 trying to get around the 35, and he will do so without too much of an issue. And man, we're hopefully Gary Sargent's awake tonight and is going to be able to update those points, because man, I don't think I'm going to be able to wait a week as the 35 gets out and snags that outside wall a little bit here. That's going to allow the 7, who's a couple laps down, to try to make up some ground here. He's going to get around Greg Klein right now and kind of rejoin this fight. The 7 of Gavin Marlin with basically a brand new, fresh race car after being up on that lid for a little bit.
We saw that with the 35's teammate, fought somebody and just kind of used it up. And, a couple of turns later, then they're in the outside wall, bouncing around a little bit. Hornbeck in the 84 did the same thing just now. Smacked the wall one time, but he's closing in on Hendrick.
Man, talk about a great race for Al Corey in that 45 here today. He's still battling it with the 42 of Angel Hernandez up here in second and third, trying as much as he can. Like we said earlier, he knows the position he's in. He's basically got to win to move on in these playoffs into that championship 4, but still, a great effort being put on by Al.
Well, he's got some guys that are 10 positions behind him right now, with Kewins and Wilson, and well, Andrew Kolb sitting at 10th, but he's got quite a few positions on these guys, so he's definitely making a run at it. He's trying to make it as close as he can.
Greg Klein's making the pass, or close to it.
And trying to. These guys have been side by side for a couple laps now, trying to get around that 35 of Ethan Flanagan, whose front end's missing a few pieces, so his car's going to be running pretty cool. It looks like Greg Klein just getting clear of him, able to squeeze right on around, but the 35 is going to immediately look to maybe make a pass back up the inside. No, not going to be there. So the 92 of Greg Klein moving his way up into 7th, as looks like Isaac Wilson having a little problem back there, maybe cutting the inside lawn just a little bit. But we're still rolling here. It's the 73 of Tim Harmon now making a move up inside of that 31, as Davey Hendricks and Mike Hornbeck are side by side here as we go across the line with 6 laps to go. Again, that 7 of Gavin Marlin a couple laps down, so he's not in a position to make up some ground.
Oh no! Teammates get together again as Harmon and Klein get together. 73's up into the outside wall. This might be a caution.
And
there it is.
Doesn't look doesn't look like Greg Klein got hurt too bad by that. Doesn't look like he lost any positions. Now, man, oh man, we got 5 laps to go here, boys, as this thing kind of ticks away. Are we gonna see pit stops here?
So Harmon, he got a fast repair. He's got a brand new car, and he was racing his teammate Greg Klein, and they just got together. Yeah, I think you'll see a lot of pit stops here, just because we've got some 40-lap-old tires up there, up towards the front. 45-lap-old. Way off the pace for some of these guys. Yeah, I'd say it's a definite. I bet you'll see damn near every car coming.
Got some in the back already taking it. No, we've seen it all. We've seen teammates crashing each other, teammates fighting each other, enemies fighting each other.
Better keep this on schedule. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I don't know about this close to the final, but hey, it's. I guess that's what's making it interesting, right?
This is the one that everybody's been practicing for, maybe more than a week. A lot of these guys.
Well, you can't practice.
Because they knew it was going to be crucial.
It doesn't matter. You get these guys out there with real emotions on the track. It's hard to practice against that.
So, Mr. Brown, we got 2 green-white checkers. It looks like this will be our first official green-white checkers. These guys come around.
Yeah, and man, for a crazy action-packed race that we've already had here today, I mean, we're going to be cranking that dial right on up to 11, I think, as Al Corey is going to try to, he's still in a pretty good spot here. He's going to be starting in 3rd. I don't know if he has the pace to get around the 18 of Biggs. No, he's going to be competitive there with the 42 of Hernandez. But, yeah, Al's in probably one of the best spots he could be in other than in that front spot. But even then, who wants to be in that front spot here? Because that's just going to allow for one of those, chucking ducks.
And he's already locked in, so you got a couple of drivers lobbying the 42. Hey, you're going to kind of jump up and maybe give us must-win guys a chance? And I'm sure the 42's just thinking to himself, man, I'd like to get another win, really. He ain't giving up.
Well, he's made it this far. Might as well go for it.
Yeah. Keep it interesting.
As lights on that pace car turn off, as a T-Stan 9015 talking to us on Twitch, saying it will be Biggs, Angel, and Cobe in final, but it can be Wilson or Klein for last spot. If they finish where they are at now, Corey will miss it by a few points, and same thing with Ethan unless the finish changes. Well, anything can happen on these green-white checkers, and away we go. Green flag with attempt number 1 side by side up here at the front. The 18 and the 42 still side by side. Looks like the 18 will just get clear. The 45 will be able to maintain.
93's wrecking. 93's wrecking again with the 73 this time. Not sure what happened there.
It looks like the 93 just broke loose, kind of coming down that back straightaway. Maybe a little bit too much power there. Coming out of that corner. Yeah, and just right in front of the 73 and cause a little bit of a pile up there. The 7 of Gavin Marlin getting involved, so he's not going to get a lucky dog from that, unfortunately.
Golly, really?
Yep, so Gavin Marlin looks like he will end up finishing this one a lap down, unable to make up any ground. But man, oh man, we in for a good finish here because we're going to go to our last attempt at that green-white checker.
And let's talk a little bit about the rules for a green-white checker. So if these guys take the white flag and then there's an incident after the white flag comes out, after the leader takes the white flag, these guys are going to race it out. The race is going to be official And then if something happens before they take that white flag, the yellow's going to come out and the field's going to be frozen, and they're going to finish under yellow. So this is one of those things where you really kind of got to watch what's going on. But as you mentioned at the beginning, track position is everything. You got to do everything you can to get ahead of the garbage you know is going to happen on this restart. We know we're going to see cars spinning. Get as many spots as you can.
One man's trash is another man's treasure. I don't see it
There
as
you go.
garbage. I see it as
Well, yeah. Well, you know what I mean. It's going to be some tore up equipment.
there's going to be something. 100%. Somebody is going to go send it when they shouldn't have sent it, and we're going to see some mayhem. I like what we've seen throughout this race.
But at the same time, we did see a very long green flag run there in the middle. That was,
Sure.
very good to see. And it's not like that green flag run was boring either. I mean, we had cars racing each other the entire time.
We were bordering on seeing some green flag pit stops, I think. Guys were out there for almost 50 laps on the same set of tires. So I was waiting for it. I was waiting for somebody to take the bait, but you really can't, no matter how slow you are. We saw some guys that were 23 seconds and change that were running in the front. That's 4 seconds off of a good, qualifying. So it is what it is here.
Well, I don't know how. I bet these guys are worn out after this. It's a lot of wheeling this thing.
That it is. And, I mean, we talked about the track temp earlier on being very high, but the heat in these guys' cockpits right now with all the action that's been going on, that thing's getting ready to boil over and come to a head as the pace car makes its final turn down pit road, and away we go as the 42 bouncing off that inside wall. That's going to allow Al Corey to kind of squeeze up, and the 64 goes around, and
Yells out. It's over.
That's going to bring out the yellow and freeze that field, and it looks like Kevin Biggs going to be that winner, taking that final spot. The 73 of Tim Harmon still kind of going for a little bit of a ride there. Angel Hernandez able to just hang on for second. Al Corey, unfortunately, just missing out and finishing third. You got Davey Hendricks in the 81 finishing fourth, coming back from a pretty rough restart that he had early on. A pretty big wreck. Ethan Flanagan, pretty good comeback there, and a very, very messed up car there in fifth. And I believe it's going to be Greg Klein finding that final spot into the finals here next week. So it's going to be Biggs, Hernandez, Kobe, and Klein.
See a little bit of after race activities as the 93 is going around wrecking everybody. Don't really understand the point of going after the race and wrecking the 92 and the 11, and
That'll be addressed at some point.
kind of unnecessary.
Tempers have flared. Let's put it that way.
Well, we talked about exhaustion. These guys got to be just exhausted, and a lot of it's because of the adrenaline pumping. I mean, we've all been in situations where the adrenaline's pumping for an extended period of time, and as soon as that rush is over, it's just flat exhausting. And I guarantee you these guys were feeling a little bit of that tonight, especially during these restarts.
As we see the 18 of Biggs, who, man, oh man, talk about a heck of a season, especially the second half of a season that he's had. I mean, really the only other person who can really compare it to is the 81 of Davey Hendricks. But, man, Kevin Biggs having a great latter half of this season, especially even in these playoffs, really not finishing out of that top five too much, as We do have people slowly popping up here into that podium finisher channel. So let's start here with our second place finisher. That's going to be the 42 of Angel Hernandez, who, man, you somehow survived all that bloodshed and everything that we saw out there. But congrats on the P2. And, I mean, we already knew you were moving on, especially with that early win at Talladega to that championship 4, man. But congrats here on the second today, and just talk about how tough of a race this was.
Throughout practice, and then obviously, as you saw through the beginning of the race, turn 1 was a bit of a struggle at first. And obviously, it spun there. That's obviously the main part. Obviously, you had to go from the back all the way to the front. But overall, I mean, that was pretty good racing. I wish I could have. Well, that last overtime would have lasted till the last lap. I think it could have gotten a possible chance, but either way, still satisfied with P2.
Definitely had a shot, and we were listening to the radio comms, and there was a couple of drivers lobbying you because they knew you were already locked in to the Final Four, and they were kind of maybe trying to lobby for you to give some people a little bit of extra leeway, but you're a Chicago man. I mean, you're a tough guy. You're not going to just lay down and let somebody else get the win if you thought you could get there. And you sure tried, man, and it was a lot of fun to watch you out there trying to get another win in these playoffs.
Yeah, I was definitely trying there at the end. Obviously, with the win right there, you're not going to back off, like right in front of you. See, obviously, I went forward, and obviously P2, but still could have been a win with a little bit extra pace and tires.
Yeah, I mean, that sets you up for next week. Next week is for all the marbles anyway. So how many laps are you going to put in at Miami Homestead to get a little practice going?
As much as I can.
Yeah, tough track, man. Hey, congrats, you're on to the final.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, and again, great finish here today. Before we let you go, got any shout-outs you need to do or anything like that?
I don't think I had any for today. No, I don't think so. Sorry if I forgot someone, but yeah, thank you guys.
Man.
Good, man.
It happens. We understand it, man. And again, congrats on the P2, and good luck next week, man. Championship race in your inaugural Xfinity season, man. Just good luck, buddy.
Think you guys hope to do well there.
All right, as we move on up to our race winner, and that's going to be the 18 of Kevin Biggs. You didn't need the win here today, man, but you got it anyway. Moving on into that championship 4. Congratulations. And not only that, but I mean, it was kind of a dominating performance from you up here at the front. We knew track position, which was our key to the race, was going to be, the biggest thing, and especially starting up at the front, staying out of all the carnage that happened behind you was definitely a big player. But even on that long, that kind of nice long green flag run we saw you driving away from these guys, and man, you just had a heck of a race here today.
Yeah, my car was definitely better on a longer run than it was a short run. So I figured, if we could get some green flags in there, that I could probably maintain my lead or wherever I'm at on the track. So when those cautions started coming out, green, white, and checker, I was a little nervous because it takes a little bit for me to get going and get back in the rhythm. But that was an awesome race up front. I'm not sure what was going on in the back. I heard some guys chattering, but it was, if I could stay out front, I thought I could be all right.
Mayhem. That's what was going on back there, man. But we saw the tire game happen. Okay, so we had guys like you that could go out there and run. Oh man, I forget how many laps it was. You were doing 50 laps on a run almost, and to stay out there. I guess let me put it this way: your tire fall off comes on pretty quick, probably 25 laps or so. When does it start to? These tires are funny. When does it start to kind of level out where you can manage it for a big run? And how long is that run last?
I'd say for me, about lap 30, 35, maybe 40 is when it kind of levels out, and then I can pretty much drive the car the same way from lap 30 until 100 more laps. So whatever the fuel window is, it's all in the throttle with that track. You know, a lot of guys will come off the corner and they'll gas it too soon and it'll get loose. Whatever that track is in the Xfinity car, it works for me because I feel like once I get in a good rhythm, I'm pretty much set.
Well, you were in a rhythm for sure, and next week you really need to be in a rhythm because that's for the big one, and I know you're looking forward to it. And congrats on getting into it. And we're going to see you in Miami for the championship.
Yes, sir. That's one of the tracks I kind of struggle at, so I'm gonna be doing some practice here soon, and hopefully make a good run at it.
What's the biggest challenge you look at Miami? Because it's a pretty wide track, and there's not a whole heck of a lot of banking there. Do you see it kind of as a tire management track? Is that something you think you can carry over from this track and all the other tire eating tracks? Is there some kind of strategy you're looking for tire management next week?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking. Since it's such a big track and there's multiple grooves, I want to make sure I can find a groove once the tires fall off, because I think we're going to go green there and not have a lot of yellows. And I just want to make sure I can find the right groove and the right lane that once the tires do fall off, that I'm not, falling way off from the leaders. So that's the biggest thing that I'm going into is making sure that I'm not, I'm right there with everybody else.
Well, man, you got the job done here today, and again, congrats on the win. Got any shout-outs before we let you go?
You guys in the booth and all the admins that put this on, we appreciate it.
Awesome, buddy. Well, again, congrats. Championship 4 next week. That's it. Rounding out this great season that we've had here in Xfinity. And we wish you nothing but the best of luck, bud.
Thank you, guys.
Whew.
Mr. Brown, I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing, but looks like our official iRacing official standings differ slightly from what we got on the Apex live timing. So I didn't know if you wanted to pull race results off the iRacing service, or if you wanted to pull them off of Apex. I'll let you do that.
You know what? Let's do that. I kind of had the feeling that was going to happen, especially with the
Shenanigans.
The shenanigans that was going on. But so that's what we will do. But holy smokes, guys! That's one race left to go, and we're crowning a champion here. And goodness gracious, talk about a warm-up act here.
Yeah. That'll tell you how much these guys want it. That was we saw a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Love, hate, and hatred, really, more than.
And all y'all watching, if I'm sorry, Adam, I didn't mean to.
No, I couldn't. I'm at a loss for words. I just saw the race I wanted to see.
If you guys are interested in getting into iRacing, this is one of those leagues that, man, look for this. Join this league because it's got everything you can imagine. If you start, because they make you start in ARCA here, and you got to work your way up through the different series, just like NASCAR. And it's very competitive, as you've seen. And man, check them out. Midwest Days of Thunder on iRacing service. Go to Facebook, check them out, watch the videos that we put on, and see if it's right for you.
All right, so let's go on in and tell everybody where everybody finished here today. That's going to be the 18 of Kevin Biggs, bringing home the win and moving on to that championship 4. He was going to be in whether he got the win or not, but either way, still a great job from Kevin, basically leading this thing from almost lap 1 on. Angel Hernandez also had a great run. He had a little bit of a miscue kind of there in the mid-race, but able to claw his way back up to finish here second. The 45 of Al Corey needed that win to get in. Unfortunately, falling just shy here in third, but still a great run from Al Corey. You got the 81 of Davey Hendricks coming here in fourth, up 9 spots here, so a great race from Davey. The 35 of Ethan Flanagan had a solid 5th place finish. You also got the 27 of Red Stick Mike Simone up 10 spots, your hard charger of the day, finishing in 6th. The 92 of Greg Klein, who again, just based eyeball math, I believe he is going to take that final spot and point his way into that championship for just getting enough done that he needed to. Finished here at 7th. The looks like 84 of Mike Hornbeck was able to come away with an 8th place finish, and Andrew Kobe in that 11 was able to finish 9th. And Isaac Wilson looks like he'll be rounding out that top 10.
Viagra machine of Anthony Fry finishing in 11th in that 64 machine. Alan Kewins, man, one of your guys that was fighting for a playoff berth into the final 4, just not able to make it work as the 60 machine was involved in a lot of incidents tonight, finishing 12th. Almost the same story with Tim Harmon. He wasn't a playoff guy, but he was in there trying to make something happen, used a fast repair late, and able to finish 13th, the last car on the lead lap. Gavin Marlin, we've seen him upside down. We've seen him blowing past cars. Gavin's been all over the place tonight in that Cale Yarborough paint. Ended up finishing 14th, the only car 1 lap down. The 80 of Pete Van Sprundle had to call it quits early with a damaged car, finishing 15th. Alex Goff in the 00, that Dr. Pepper paint. We talk a lot about these throwback paints. This was 80s throwback night tonight. He took that Davey Allison paint to a 16th place finish, 100 laps down. Had a lot of damage. Jason Ricketts had a wreck early and manually disconnected. He is your 17th place driver.
And that will conclude the race in action here tonight on this Monday night. We thank you all for tuning in and following us on those Twitch, Facebook, and YouTubes. As always, you are the reason why we do this. Is all you guys sitting back there watching and engaging with us. So we definitely appreciate it. And yeah, man, we got a great race coming up on Wednesday night with the Vigilante Racing Series on Wednesday. They're going to be at Iowa, and they're basically coming off of just about a flag-to-flag finish at Auto Club. And man, that was a heck of a race to go watch. So that's something you guys might want to tune into on Wednesday night. And then Thursday we've got Isaac Wilson's stream of the ARCA series here at North Wilkesboro, and on Friday we've got the Midwest Days of Thunder Cup series are going to Richmond, and this is it for MDOT. This is the penultimate week for everybody. Next week is going to be the final races of the season, so definitely kind of watch and figure out what the point situations are for all of these guys and who's in, who's out, who's racing for that big old cup. But for those of us here at North Wilkesboro, we again thank you all for watching. I'm Alan Brown for Alan English and Adam Turner. We're signing off.
And thanks to all you guys on Facebook like Pimpere, Warman, Tommy Stanley, GGR, on YouTube, Forns, Blake Flanagan, Richard Gray also on Twitch, and T-Stand for all the good information. We used a lot of your information tonight, so thank you so much for that. And you guys are the reason we do this, and we appreciate all the extra help y'all give us. So thanks a lot for that. And with that, we gone.
See ya.